the web. You can add fonts, and then you could just make something just really, really fun. So you could make a collage. If you're not into like all the extensive collage stuff, you can just choose a frame, and it would just kind of like piece it all together, like really fast. And you can use your finger to crop images. So that's one of the features that's very, very popular. And with our users, they really like stickers, and we recently added a social feature to it.
So 87% of our users are female, and they kind of evenly fall into three buckets: the teen segment, early college segment, and then the post-college segment. Median age is 20. Most of them are in North America, and I'll let Joanne kind of show you what the user experience is like, and then we'll show you some of these social features that we're launching to get your opinion on how the different segments look at their identity and how that plays into social interactions.
So right now, at the moment, after you make a collage, you can post it onto the PicCollage wall. And right now, it's more curated. So we choose the nicer looking collages to put onto the featured wall. So it turns out that most of the collages look like this. So they're right now, I guess it's kind of like a popular team. They like to have this kind of look, like these very, very pretty photos with quotes. They love the Minions. Ever since, and then One Direction is something that has always been popular. These two are not photos that have been featured. These two are from Facebook. So on the featured wall, we try to make it so that the photos are more general, and we don't put like their like family photo stuff in there. But if you look at the photos that we posted onto Facebook or weren't like posted publicly, you can see they're all like photos of family and friends and their trips and like random stuff that they like to do on their spare time. Since Christmas, we added a feature called, you can respond to collages. So for example, if somebody made this collage, this one's fun. If you like to find, they ask you to find 2 of these in here, so then people can respond to it. And it's not responding from comment, it's responding with a collage. So it's kind of trying to get people to use a more visual way to interact with other people's collages. So ever since we've had that, we've had people, users who like to put on these little games, and then some of them like to have like these interactive messages asking people to give their feedback on recent movies or things that they like. So this is an example of what it looks like. So if you're here on this explore page, you could see this, tap it, and then you go in, and this is a vote, a poll. So if you like this, which song do you like better? And then you can press the responses, and then go in, and then see what other people respond. And if you like, you can also make your own response. So that's the new function.
So part of that social context is when you reply to this collage with a collage, you can see what other people have written in response. Or there's also another one where you can go directly to respond without looking at what other people have done. So, one question is, do different segments behave differently? Like, do some segments not care what other people wrote and just start writing their own thing? Or do certain segments care, very importantly, to read what everyone else has done before they do it? And how much of this should be public to the general public versus your own network of friends?
Do you get to decide all that right now on your own? Do you get to say, like, I want this to be public versus private, or like share it with a selected group of friends?
No, right now the default is public.
And if it's not public, then can you turn it off? Or is it's just public?
If you wanted that your whole account is
Your whole account, so no one can see.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all public.
But it's only the ones that are featured that everybody sees. And then if your collage wasn't featured, then if you have a PicCollage account and then you have added friends, then those people will come in and then they see it.
And so is that the most common use? Is that you have friends that you're sharing it with? Like what are people interacting with most? Are they interacting most with featured collages, or are they interacting most with their friends' collages?
think most of it is the featured one because it just gets so much exposure. But then there are some that aren't featured. They happen to have a lot of followers and they put up these kinds of interactive questions. And then they will suddenly get a bunch of replies without it even featuring them. And then we use that in our featuring algorithm to get them featured.
I see.
Because right now it's devolved into a popularity contest. But we want it to be more targeted to our different segments. And we can look at age maybe, we can look at geo, but trying to understand if there's a major difference in the underlying emotions or identity variables of the three different segments will be helpful.
Do you guys analyze the content in any way? Like what people, the types of things that they post? Or
We don't have that much metadata. We've just done it more cursory scan. A lot of it is things like Minions, Nutella. Our audience is very teen. Median age 20. Median age is 20. So, or what other brands?
Yeah, it's more like One Direction, Minions, and then the very, very pretty like faded photo with the very elegant font, with the nice quote. That always gets a lot of likes. So right now, like if you're basically looking through it, you can kind of see, I just posted a Minions thing, and then after a day, it got like 800. So okay, that one did pretty well. So then sometimes we use these kind of ways to test what people like.
what's your goal?
Oh, you mean with
Just with the product, like what would you like to see happen? How would you like to see it grow?
We want people to come back every single day and reply to collages or like them. We know that a small portion of our audience will be generating content for the public. Their default mode, because your app originally started as a utility, they're mainly just creating collages of family experiences or friend experiences close to that point in time and sharing that with friends. Right? So on weekends. But we want to give them a fun thing to do every single day. And it's easier to consume content than to create content daily. And so liking stuff, checking it out, and then to some degree applying it.
So one of it is like the ease of creating these things, right? Like you're saying the only way you can really reply is with a collage.
Yeah.
Would you be open to a response being something other than a collage? Like, is it fine if it's in like group settings more so than?
I think that's more the team's issue of trying to do new things. So when you hit reply, it actually takes the original collage and all the elements. And so you just add a simple text and that's it. Like you don't have to go complex with it. So
Okay.
I guess like if you look at the one on the bottom right, that's just a text and a smiley. The one on the here is just text, right? So there can be simple interactions, and that's predominantly what we see. But they like that they can change the font all the time, or add a smiley or something like that.
Do you have a sense of like what the friction is? Like why people aren't logging in daily? Is it?
I think, well, first of all, most of our audience doesn't even know that this exists, this feature. But
You mean the app?
no, the reply feature.
Oh, okay.
But even when
Why don't they know?
Because the team has not promoted it.
So
But the other thing is, even if they know, they're still not coming back daily at high enough rate.
Right.
Because we want to create a daily habit.
Uh-huh.
So I think what you're talking about earlier about, cranking up certain modes of identity,
Yeah.
right? Is there some dimension here that you see that can be cranked up or?
Yeah, but there's not like really a group. Like, what is the group that you're sharing this with a group, right? With that's the idea is that it's not just for your eyes, it's for like a group size.
Yeah.
It's not clear to me like what that group is that you're sharing it with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the world? Well, that's not really like meaningful for me per se. Like, it's not defined. Can you isolate groups to some extent? Can you have like some sort of grouping? Can you post these collages within like categories? Can you create a group of friends that it's more meaningful for? Like, can you just create like a collage friend group,
Mhm.
right? And this is like one collage friend group. You have, this is another one, and it's like sort of a conversation that you guys are having. So I guess that's one thing I'm not really seeing as like a clear group.
Yeah, it's just one big pool.
Yeah, and I think that that's hard for people to sort of say why they're doing it or who they're doing it for. It's sort of like for the world, and if you're not sure who's going to respond to it, you don't know if you're going to even end up on this like favorites wall, like why invest the time in doing it, right? Like, I don't know, do you know how long on average it takes someone to create this collage?
No, we don't have that data.
Yeah, so like, I'm assuming they invest a little bit of time in it, it's nice to get recognition for it. So how can you increase people's perceptions that they'll get recognition for what they're doing? And I think first step I'd say is like probably social groups of some sort. Maybe being able to tag it in some way that identifies like what your goal with it is. So either the social group or the group of the or like groups based on content. Just off the top of my head.
So yeah, one of the things I thought could be so you have kind of, it's almost like a poll, right? Where
A lot of the popular ones are polls.
And the idea is that someone who's responding to that one will reuse one of the images within that,
They
or
can reuse one, all, none, anything.
so one thing that would be interesting is if, based on which one you reuse, it would influence the original, like sort of like either like it could maybe a dynamic, sort of like how like a poll will change over time. Like maybe the picture gets bigger, maybe there's like some like mark on it, like a star gets bigger on top of it or something like that. So some way where you can kind of see like its changes over time based on the engagement. So like a user would feel that they're made an impact on what other people saw, for instance. Like people vote on polls because they think it's wrong. Like this one should be higher, I need to change this now. So things like that.
Okay.
How are you guys monetizing?
Well, we're not really focused on monetization.
Is there a defining moment when you felt like, oh, this thing is taking off? What does that mean? When did it happen? What triggered it?
Of the app or of features?
Yeah.
It was just a very well-designed app that got featured very shortly after submission, and it just took off ever since.
So it was like app of the day? Or
Yeah, it was like a featured app.
It was, and then new and noteworthy.
And then it just stayed in the top 10 for photo and video ever since, dropping out maybe once or twice in a year, like one back within 2 or 3 years.
Well done.
Do you have any brands or like personalities or anything that have expressed interest or are already on it?
There's proactive outreach and then just we discovering people using it. So there's like some teen country pop singer. We found out that she was using it because she posted it to Twitter.
Right.
We reached out to Interscope Records. So we had a sticker pack for Robin Thicke before he was popular here. But I think a lot of the content it's more organic content than necessarily celebrity content. So stickers designed by one of our users, actually that one sticker pack did really well compared, probably even better than Robin Thicke. Don't fit that. But yeah, so we're trying to move towards that direction. Of opening up the experience, but I don't think the celebrity angle is not the same. So like when people pick One Direction, it's just to say, I love One Direction. We did have a One Direction sticker pack, but it wasn't really designed specifically because of image restrictions and all that stuff. So I don't think that was as useful as I think probably users used our web search feature and pulled images of One Direction people and their logo instead of using the sticker pack that was officially One Direction-ish. So that's kind of what we were seeing.
I think another possibly interesting, again, getting friends involved with, like the poll thing is really interesting. It's like gauging your friends' opinions.
Yeah.
So can you like, if you find one that's really interesting to you, can you share it just with your friends and get like their take on it? sort of like within your friend group, you find a cool poll. It's not just, the feedback isn't necessarily to the person who created the poll, but the feedback is
Yeah.
within
I don't,
sort of like,
yeah, we just have a feature to
Yeah.
share that, but then any reply ends up being part of the global set. Yeah. Not just the people you share it to.
right. So that, I mean, right, we want to know what our friends like in sort of a non-committal way sometimes, especially in this age demographic. Is there, you know, is there a way to do that? Have your friends vote on it? Why are you guys backing away from monetizing, if I may ask?
Oh, we're not backing
Oh,
away.
you're not backing away,
There's
you're
just-
just, that's not the goal.
There's other things to focus on.
Okay. So I find the poll part of it a very interesting part for potential monetization, but,
Okay.
interesting feedback on, you know, like the polls that teens or themselves create, like the things that they find interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's a interesting way to go, maybe expanding the full functionality of it.
How many active users do you have?
We don't publicly disclose that right
Order of magnitude.
now. Huh?
Order of magnitude.
Between 0 and 50 million.